So there's an emergency and your salt and pepper shakers are empty. So it's time to fill them up. How do you do that? Well, I've got 4 of them that just like that went completely empty, and now I have to fill them all up. So a few things. Here's my little squirrel and acorn salt and pepper shaker. And here's my chicken egg salt and pepper shaker. Funny enough, my family, for whatever reason, had this filled with salt and this filled with pepper for the past 10 years. And today I'm using this as my opportunity to get back at them and switch them up. Salt, pepper. So here's how you do it. You can do this over the sink. It's a whole lot cleaner if you do it that way because you don't have to worry about a mess. But I'm going to do it in a way that is not going to use a sink and still not make a mess. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's just go with pepper first. So first thing is get a piece of paper, right? That'll be your little work area so you don't make an absolute positive wreck out of this. And you're going to grab the shaker that you want to put pepper in. You're going to basically turn it over. But when you turn it over, sometimes there may be some left, right? So you need to cover up these holes because when you turn it over, you don't want it to dump all over your counter, right? So what I do, I use my finger. You could use a piece of tape, but it's really not necessary. So I just put my finger over this, I turn it over, and I pop out that little, however your salt and pepper shaker works, everyone's, got a different mechanism here. Mine are these little kind of silicone molded things. Take that out. And then my great value Walmart brand black pepper. What I do is I use this quick pour spout. I don't use the spoon dumping thing, and I certainly don't use the shaker because it would take you forever. So use the quick pour spout, right? Pop that open, and it's going to be messy, so I take this and move it away, okay? And you start just dumping, right? Dumping it in until you see it kind of hit. You see the mound starting to form. There it is. All right, so now it's full. Right? So you dump out the excess. Some people will use a piece of paper and like roll a little funnel and do it that way. I don't do it because I can't really see, right? When I have this funnel paper here, it blocks my view, so I don't do that. So this is how I do it. Take your little stopper again, stick it back in there, just like that. Turn it over, and now you've got a full pepper shaker, okay? So while we're here, let's do... Actually, this one, I think we keep pepper in. So I'm going to do this one as well, just because we're sitting here and rather than dumping the paper twice, we'll dump it just once. So once again, my fingers over the spouts here, right? And I just start filling. Just like so, until you see it start to overflow, and we're done. All right, so now that one's done. Kind of wipe it off around the edges so that your silicone mold fits in there properly. All right, so that's done. All right, so now I need to get all this pepper back in. If you did this over the sink, you'd throw this away. In my case, I'm now going to open up the spoon section, and all I do is I take this piece of paper like this, and I don't squeeze it all the way, but I make it so that this end is somewhat close or tight so that it pours in really easily, just like that, okay? All right, so now that's that. So pepper done, out of the way. Get some of this pepper off the table here. Don't want to mix it with salt, for God's sakes. That would be the end of the world. So now let's do salt shakers, all right? So we're going to use these two to fill up with salt. Same exact technique, only a little bit different towards the end when I dump the salt back into the shaker because it's a much smaller spout, but I'll show you how we're going to do that. And same, oops, I don't have it all the way closed. You saw it leaking out down on my finger, so now I do have it closed. And almost there. And there, right there we go. All right. Let's close it up. These are a little bit more of a pain for me to get in there. They're a little bit bigger, which is actually kind of good because that means it's more of a tight fit. And there we go. Okay, that was kind of a pain, but we're good. All right, so that's that one. Finally, 10 years, we're now good. All right, so let's do I'll get that pepper out there. Let's do our acorn. So I'm going to go ahead and put my finger over that hole. Pull that out. Fill up the acorn with salt. And almost there. And I think we're going to be there in about 2 seconds. There. And I was letting a little bit go on the bottom by accident. All right, so get that out of the way of the silicone mold so the silicone mold sticks tightly. You don't want that falling out. And that's that. Okay, now, I really barely have enough salt to worry about. So this is kind of silly to even save it, right? But we'll do it just to show you sometimes if I've got a lot more salt but that I've spilled. All you have to do is make sure that this is squeezed enough so that it fits right in there. That's it, right? And that makes it much easier to put it back, just like that. And that is it. So if you learned anything at all, one little teeny thing, I just ask you to like and subscribe. Thanks.